I really like to save money where I can, but there are some things I have learned you should never choose only by the lowest price, because being cheap in the wrong place can cost you much more later. The difficult part is that the consequences often appear later, so it can be hard to know what matters unless someone points it out in advance or you have seen it for yourself. So in this video, I'm going through 10 things I have realized you should never cheap out on. And let's start with simple but often overlooked one, the things you connect to expensive devices. It is kind of strange how careful we are when choosing the main thing, like our phone, laptop, camera, or TV. We compare everything, we read all these reviews, maybe spend weeks deciding, and then once we finally buy it, we connect it to the cheapest charger, cable, battery, or power strip we can find. These things may seem unimportant, but they can still cause much bigger problems later. For example, a bad charger can overheat or slowly damage the battery, and a low quality camera battery can lose capacity quickly, swell, or even get stuck inside the device. This actually happened with one of the first cameras that I owned. I had bought a cheap extra third-party battery for it, and after some time, the battery started swelling inside the camera. Luckily, I noticed it early enough and managed to get it out, because otherwise it could have damaged the whole camera. And after that, I became a lot more careful with these things. Third-party products can be completely fine, of course. I would just make sure that the company has a good reputation and there is at least some proper quality control behind it. And this same idea applies outside of technology too. Like if you own an expensive bicycle, for example, it makes very little sense to protect it with a cheap lock. Another thing where I do not think it is worth being too cheap is when money is shared between people. Because this is where a very small amount can sometimes leave a surprisingly lasting impression. This can be, for example, a restaurant bill, a group gift, some travel costs, or normal household expenses with a partner or roommate. And what you want to avoid, in my opinion, is the feeling that you are trying to avoid paying your fair share, or that everything has to be calculated perfectly so you avoid paying any extra cent. Of course, equal is not always fair. If someone ordered much more, chose the expensive option, or will use something much more than everyone else, then it makes sense that they contribute more. But when everyone is getting roughly the same value, I don't think every tiny difference needs to become a whole discussion. And especially in a relationship, the overall balance matters more than whether every month is divided perfectly. Household costs are much more than rent and electricity anyway. There are groceries, transport, childcare, small things for the home, and a lot of work that never appears like financially. So in my opinion, if you love that person, it is better to look at whether things feel fair over time rather than constantly checking who paid $5 more. I actually still remember one situation when it comes to this from around 10 years ago. I was traveling in Greece with a group of maybe 15 or 20 friends, and we rented several cars so we could visit different places together. The people with the most driving experience drove, which made sense, but still at some point our car touched a curb in a parking lot and left a very small mark. It was one of those small normal accidents that could have happened to anyone, and even if it was tiny, of course the rental company overcharged like crazy. They asked like 300 euros for that small thing. In this case, the fault was the driver's because he was the one behind the wheel, but most of us felt that this was a shared trip, and he had been one of the people who made it possible by volunteering to drive, so it did not feel right for him to pay the whole amount. We calculated that split between everyone in the group, which we were after all, it would have been around 15 euros each. Surprisingly, at least to me, a couple of people refused. They said it had nothing to do with them and that is not their problem at all. And honestly, I still remember those people mainly from that moment, even 10 years later. The amount was quite small, and for sure they could afford it because the trip cost like 10 or 20 times more than that per person, but the gesture said a lot. So whether you think everyone should have paid in this case or not, I think the wider point still stands. When money is shared, people remember how you behave. You don't want to be the person who always finds a reason to pay the exact minimum or nothing at all. Sometimes paying a little extra protects something much more valuable, like trust, fairness, and the feeling that you are someone people can actually rely on. I also think it makes sense to spend more on things that quickly pay for themselves. I think frugal people, and I definitely include myself here, can sometimes keep an inefficient system for far too long because technically it still works. But something working does not always mean that it is the smartest option. Like a few months ago, I finally paid for the faster internet here at our home. Our building includes a free Wi-Fi, and I had used that for years because, well, it was free. But as a content creator on the internet, I upload large video files, download footage, move things online, and do most of my work through the internet. So everything took a little longer than it needed to every single day for years. And the moment I upgraded, I realized how silly that saving had been. I was protecting a small amount of money each month while regularly losing time and getting annoyed by the same problem. And the same can apply to a reliable computer used for work, a good washing machine that lasts, clothes that do not need replacing every year, or paying someone to finish a job in a few hours that would take you several days. Even with travel, a direct flight can sometimes be worth the extra cost, especially with kids. The cheaper route may cost you sleep and a lot more energy than you expected, which is not something that you want to lose when you are actually having a holiday. Of course, this does not mean that every upgrade is an investment, like saving 50 minutes once probably changed very little, but saving 15 minutes every day is totally different. I actually have a free smart spending checklist with the questions I use myself before buying something. It helps you work out whether a purchase will genuinely improve your life or whether it only sounds useful in the moment. You can find it through the link in the description if you are interested. Number 4. Socks and shoes you wear regularly. These are so easy to underestimate because they feel like such basic purchases, and there are options everywhere from like very cheap to extremely expensive. But these are also some of the few things that support your body for hours at a time, almost every day. So I do think they are worth choosing very carefully. And if you are a runner like me, the wrong shoes can cause much bigger problems too. Like I have had injuries before, and while shoes are not the full reason, they can definitely make things worse when the shoe does not suit the way you move. And that is why I think fit to your feet matters much more than the price. Even an expensive shoe can be a bad purchase if it is too narrow, too loose, or too stiff, or simply made for a completely different activity. A smaller number of comfortable socks and reliable shoes is usually much more useful than a large collection of pairs that never feel quite right. I also think it is worth being a little less focused on getting the lowest possible price when you are buying from a small local business, because they are usually working with a completely different reality than a large company. They have a smaller stock, they have fewer customers, they pay local rent and wages, and often the person serving you is also the person doing most of the work behind the scenes. So when something costs a little more, it does not always mean that they are just trying to overcharge you. Sometimes that is simply what the product or service needs to cost for the business to survive. So trying to bargain or asking for a discount that feels small to you may remove most of what they were actually earning from the sale. People often say they want independent shops, cafes, markets, and interesting local places in their neighborhood, but those places cannot survive only because people like the idea of them. And I actually think the same applies when you're buying something from a friend or someone you know. Knowing the person should not automatically mean that you will get free work or a large discount. Sometimes the most supportive thing you can do is pay the normal price without making them explain why their work or product costs what it does. If there is one area where it makes sense to invest properly, it is your health, because almost everything else in life becomes harder when your body or mind is not doing well. And the full cost is not always something that you can see clearly. Like poor sleep, untreated pain, constant fatigue or tiredness, or an injury that keeps returning affect almost everything in your life without creating one obvious bill. Of course, investing in your health does not mean like buying all these supplements or wellness products that promises to fix everything. There's a lot of money being made from making people feel like they always need one more product to be healthy. For me, this is more about putting enough time, attention, and money into the things that I know to be helpful, like regular checkups, healthy food, movement, noticing when something in my body changes, and dealing with problems before they become more serious. Because avoiding the cost today often only moves it into the future, where it may come with more treatment, more stress, and more time away from normal life. Number 7. Professional help when the stakes are high. I think there are plenty of things worth learning to do yourself, especially when getting something wrong is not that big of a deal. It can save you money, teach you useful skills, and sometimes it is honestly much more satisfying to figure it out on your own. But when a mistake could cost you a lot of money, create legal trouble, damage something expensive like your home, or take months to fix, I think professional help can easily become the cheaper choice. You're not only paying someone for the hour that they spent with you, you are paying for the years of experience behind that hour and for their ability to notice problems that you may not even know are there. Like when I started my business, one of the first things I did was hire an accountant. I understood the basic finances and I probably could have learned more of it myself and do it myself. But I also knew there was a real chance I could do something wrong while fully believing that I was doing it correctly. And with taxes and business finances, that kind of mistake can become very stressful and expensive very quickly. Having an accountant also gave me more time and mental space to focus on the parts of business that I actually enjoy and I know how to do well, which for me is making these videos. So the question is not only whether you are capable of doing the task, it is whether learning and managing all of it yourself is really the best use of your time. I would say a useful rule is that when the possible cost of a mistake is much higher than the cost of proper guidance, paying for expertise is probably worth it. Then, taking proper care of your teeth. This is one of those things that feels easy to postpone because most of it is boring and never seems urgent when nothing hurts. But by the time a problem becomes impossible to ignore, fixing it may require more money, more appointments, and a lot more discomfort than the basic care of like replacing a toothbrush, flossing, or going for a checkup would have. I was actually recently reminded of this when one of my wisdom teeth became infected. I went to the dentist, had an x-ray taken, and the dentist told me that at least 2 of my wisdom teeth should probably be removed. She also said that it could make sense to remove all 4, so I would not have to go through the same process again later. And then a few weeks after that, when I went in for the removal, the dentist asked, well, how many I wanted taken out. And since they could all be removed at once, I decided to just get it over with once and for all. And I have to say the first few days were pretty rough. I could barely open my mouth, so I was mostly drinking my meals and sleeping quite poorly. It slowly became easier, but still the recovery took much longer than I expected, and that was 3 weeks ago, and even now I'm still not like completely back to normal. It was uncomfortable, inconvenient, and required much more patience than I expected, but at least now I know I should never have to deal with those wisdom teeth again. Number 9. The thing that feels made for you. Most purchases should be considered carefully, especially if you're trying to live with less and avoid wasting money. But sometimes you come across something that simply feels unusually right. And this is different from the normal excitement of seeing something new or finding a good discount. The item feels right, even if you had to pay the full price. And when you usually say no to almost everything, you know your own preferences and have thought about what you genuinely use, I think this instinct should be trusted. One example for me was this flannel shirt I found around 4 years ago. I liked the style, the size was perfect, and it suited me well. And I don't buy new clothes very often, so I could easily have told myself I did not need it and just walked away. Instead, I trusted my instinct, bought it, and now it has probably been my favorite shirt ever since. So being frugal should help you recognize what matters to you, not make you afraid of every purchase. And my free smart spending checklist can help with this too, so don't forget to check it out. Number 10. Being there when it really matters. Some of the most important things in life can be expensive without involving any physical object at all. They may cost you money, time, energy, convenience, or a complete change of plans. Traveling for a family event is a good example, but there are moments that only happen once, like a wedding, a funeral, a graduation, the birth of a child, or a difficult period when someone close to you actually needs support. Missing one of those moments can stay with you much longer than the money you saved. And the value is not always only in the event itself. Sometimes it is in what your presence says to the other person. It tells them that their life, their struggle, or their important moment mattered enough for you to make the effort. A message or a video call can still mean a lot, especially when distance or circumstances make traveling impossible. But when you do have a real choice, I think it helps to ask which decision would be harder to live with afterward. Would you regret spending the money and making the trip, or would you regret not being there? So don't save money while missing out on life. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one.